Hi, it's Renee. This is part 2 of my conversion of a bag, a padded envelope that's already been used, into an ephemera holder. I've covered it with fabric, a ton of fabric that I have, little upholstery fabric pieces, and so it's just blue, nothing fancy. I did take my book, as you saw in the previous video. These papers are nice in here. They're from Artie Mays. They might clash a little bit with this, but this is an ephemera holder, so for myself. So I'm just going to use up the stuff, the garbage I have. Not garbage. Yeah, I'm going to recycle what I have. These were in there already. And then I'm choosing some of my papers I may or may not use in a journal. But I have a bunch of this stuff that came in a paper pack, so I've decided to use this. Now all I'm going to do to make the pockets on these pages in here, there's a couple of different things you can do. You can use, if you want, you can use any paper and make as many as you would like, or you can use wax paper to make your pockets, or if you have any of those plastic paper, like a presentation cover that's made out of that flexible plastic page protector, you can use that as well. I've done that on a previous video, or a previous book I made. It wasn't a video, and that worked out pretty well. For this one, I'm going to use wax paper, see how that works, because I'm trying to use what I have here at the house. And this is really easy. The other thing I decided is I'm not going to put I thought I was going to put a binding in there, so I'm going to sew these directly onto this and see how that holds up, because I'm going to have the fabric there, so it's going to hold everything in place pretty good if I just do a simple pamphlet stitch. So I'm going to set this aside, and then all you're going to do is take some wax paper. I've already got a piece torn out here, and you're going to cut pockets that are going to fit to be the size of your page. So I'm basically just going to, I've only got these scissors right here, so I'm just going to cut along this side for my pockets. Not being really straight, that's pretty straight for me. And I'm going to trim this edge over here just a bit, if it works in a paper trimmer like this. I'm not sure if it will, because I've never cut wax paper on this thing. Okay. It kind of worked. It worked pretty well. Okay. So then all I'm going to do is cut, I don't know, I think I'm going to go with only 2 pockets per page. And then once you have your pocket sizes, okay, so I could probably get 3 out of this piece of paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue using this instead of scissors. And I'm going to cut them at 3 inches for this page. They're going to be different sizes on each page, because some ephemera is larger. But I'm going to cut 3 inch right now. And then all you're going to do, actually this will work too. So I got 4 out of that. All you're going to do is you're going to lay them out here. And then you're going to, I am only going to tack down the corners just a little bit with, you could use a glue stick, whatever, because what I'm going to do, which I find works best, is once I tack down these pages, I'm going to sew the letter, like a letter U, around each corner to hold the piece in. So, all right, I'm just going to use a little bit of glue in each corner. To hold them in place while I'm sewing them. Because if you've got it sewn in, you don't need to use a lot of glue. And I found on the last one I made, I used the page protectors, and I used a brand of glue that it didn't seem to want to dry. I don't know if that was because of the glue and the plastic combination. It was a water-based glue, so I was kind of surprised, but it took a good, I was at like 3 hours and it still hadn't dried yet. So I just ended up sewing right over my glue. Okay, I'm gonna move that a little bit. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, just tack it down. And then I'm gonna sew it in using whatever kind of glue you want. I'm not going to be really or whatever kind of thread I want. I'm not going to be very particular. Like I said, this is just an ephemera holder for myself. And this is all recycled material. Well, I guess the wax paper is new, but just something I had around the house already. Okay, and then I'm going to tack down the last one. You don't want to use a lot of glue in your sewing machine, but I haven't had any issues yet, so I try not to sew while it's, see, that didn't stay very well right there. I don't know, maybe it's something with the wax on this one. Okay, I'm going to sew this. I'm not going to do it on camera, and then I'll be right back. Okay, they are all sewn. I'm going to move the camera here. Sorry. Okay, they're all sewn and in here. These are the page protectors I was talking about. I did find a couple. Looks like I have about 10 left. I just cut the edges off. So what I did a little off-screen test here. So there's a couple things I wanted to get into my own head. And that's which glue is the best to hold this stuff down while you're trying to sew it and tack it in place. And I think that the tacky glue is the best. It holds it down, it dries, and the sheet protectors don't slide around. And I also tried a glue stick from somewhere, probably Staples too, or Office Max. That didn't work at all. It kind of stuck, but only for a second. And then this seemed to have a little bit of a tendency to not dry and hold either. So I would use this. Probably even Elmer's glue would work. And then I did two things. I used sheet protectors on some. My camera stopped working there for a bit, and I had to recharge my camera. So let me reset this. Okay, so I figured out the glue, and I went ahead and I sewed these in, these page protectors. I also used wax paper. This is just, you know, something I put together for myself. So I'm not going to be really picky on how things look, because this is just to hold a bunch of pieces for me, so they're not stuffed in a box anymore. So now all I'm going to do is sew this into this so it fits. It stays in here, so I have like a little booklet to, sorry about the glare. I have a little booklet to hold my bigger pieces in. And again, I'll have a little pocket here too. So all I'm going to do on this one, you could sew individual sections, but again, I'm not going to be too particular with this. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my three little sections, signatures. I'm going to stick a paper, a binder clip on each end. There and here. I'm just going to line it up in the middle of my book, my packaging. And then I'm going to take my bookbinding tools. So I've got this little kit here. This is a great little kit, very inexpensive. Whoops, I don't know why that's sticking out. Oh, there we go. And it's, I want to say it was like $14, $13, something like that. It has everything you need to do pamphlet stitching and bookbinding. So all I'm doing on this is I'm just going to kind of eye the center, what I think is the center. Normally I have a template that I would use for my regular journals, but I'm not going to do that on this. I'm going to put that one there. I always like to double check myself and make sure like this is still lined up when I do my next, do the next hole down here. Fold that in half, do it about the same. Okay, so now I've got 3 holes here to sew these in a pamphlet stitch. One, go about 2.5, because this isn't anything fancy. If you want to make danglies and decorative things to hang from this string, you'd make that longer, but I go about 2.5 times the width or length, height of the what I'm trying to stitch. Alright, so now I'm just going to start in the middle. I start, wherever you start, this is where your string is going to hang out. So I prefer my strings to hang out in the middle. If you want them to hang, if you want the string to hang here when it's all done, you're going to start this way and go in. So just go ahead and kind of do this really quick. I line this up. It's always fun trying to find where the little hole is. So I'm going to kind of go back through here again. Kind of eye where that hole was right there. I'm going to go just... Sometimes it takes a second because I didn't measure this or anything. So I'm going to put my finger right there. And this, I'll come up through the hole that's there, and then I'll come up through the holes that are in here. My cat, Tigger, is wanting to craft along too. Sometimes she does that. Sometimes she gets my supplies in the middle of the night and starts crafting on her own, and I find that she leaves her craft supplies on the living room floor, which is not where they belong. So I've grounded her from crafting, but she still continues to sneak in the middle of the night and do her little thing. She's especially prone to anything that's a string. Okay, so I've gone in here, come out, picked this side, and come through. And I've gone all the way back up through the middle here, if that makes sense. And now I'm just coming up to this, going back through the final piece here, because I want to end on the inside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this, because you don't want to go through your string where you don't want to like go through this piece of string again. So I hold that piece to the side a bit, and I try to find this without actually going through that string. So the very last thing I do then is I put one piece of string on each side of this string that's in the middle. I make it really tight right there, and I tie a knot. Wax string, you can use any kind of string, it depends on what you're doing. Wax string, if you tie it all up and you want to untie it, It actually is easier to untie than regular string. Alright, so take my clips off, and I have a little binder book, or a bound book for ephemera. I only made a pocket down here. I'll cut all these little strings off, but I made a pocket down here and because I wanted to put tall pieces in here. And so you can take your bits of what you have or what you've made. So I can take my little booklets that I've made in previous videos, and I could put those in the side pocket here, keep my bigger stuff in there, my bulky stuff, and then I could put my all of my cards, Project Life cards that I was converting, and put, you know, whatever, however you want to sort it, your tags in one spot. I'm going to put tags over here, the tags that are shaped like tags. And I'll put my little decorative ones, my nice ones right here. And I will probably make a pocket. I have square ones. Here's my tags. Put that tag there, that tag there. So see, you just have a holder for this stuff. And it'll hold quite a bit. This is just a square one. These three are all just square ones, so I can put those down here. And I have a bulkier one, so I'm probably, for now, I'm just going to put that here. What I'll do is I'll put a pocket in here on this side, and so I can put things that are a little bit bulkier. But you can see I've got plenty of room here to go ahead and, whoops, that kind of didn't line up exactly. What was I saying? I love it when I do that. Yeah, I'll put a pocket here and a pocket here to put the bulkier things. But this way I can just keep this, carry it with me, whatever. And I'm actually taking a road trip here pretty soon. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this with me with my favorite little goodies in it. And work on journals. Quite a long trip. So, see? Oh, you can't see her. She's loving these little ties here. And then I'll probably put something on here, some picture or paper collage of some sort. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it just like that. I hope you enjoyed this mini little two-part video, or I might combine it all into one. I filmed it in 3 parts. But it's a good use of using your trash, you know, your junk. And I'm always collecting these, and I hesitate to use them for packaging. I'll sometimes wrap them around a journal when I ship something out to add an extra layer of waterproof. But it works just fine to use as an ephemera holder for yourself. I didn't really like it to make a journal, like I said, but it works for me how it is. And I appreciate you watching. If you have any suggestions or ideas for your own ephemera holder, I would appreciate you putting some comments down below. Thank you so much. And I want to say hi to Olivia. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.